This is the Pixel 5, and to me, it is Google's most confusing phone yet. On the one hand, this phone feels like a bit of a backwards step. Instead of going with a phone that pushes the limits with new experimental features like previous Pixels have, Google have gone for a more refined approach for the Pixel 5. An approach that gives you the essentials of a great smartphone at a price point that makes more sense than it ever did before for a flagship Pixel. And although Google have cut a few of the niceties that the older Pixels had from this phone, it's kept the best of a classic Pixel experience at its core. And as a complete package, it is one seriously enjoyable phone to use. Now if you're part of the 93% of people who watch these videos but aren't subscribed, then let's change that, because 2021 is going to be a huge year for this channel, and you won't want to miss out. The new design language for the Pixel 5 is really nice. In typical Google fashion, the rear design of this phone is simple. The glass back we saw with previous Pixels has now been traded off for this finely textured plastic unibody, and that's no bad thing. Not only is plastic a lot stronger than glass, but it also feels nice to not have any seams or panel gaps throughout the body of the phone. Although it's all plastic, it doesn't feel cheap at all, thanks to the metal construction underneath. In the hand, this phone feels great, thanks to its non-slippiness, great weight balance, and overall comfort of use. And just like the generations before it, it's a great phone to hold and to use. And the cohesion throughout this new design language works pretty well. It's the little details like the matching Google logo and power button, the minimal imprint of the fingerprint scanner, and the perfect design of the entire phone, from the camera housing to the corners of the body. Everything about this phone seems so simple, but so perfect at the same time. Just like the sponsor of today's video, NordPass. If you want a simple way to keep your passwords in one ultra-secure place, then NordPass is the software for you. Featuring apps for all your favourite platforms like iOS, Android, Mac and Windows, and plugins for Chrome and other web browsers, NordPass makes secure password storage, generation and leak checks easy. I've been using NordPass since June to store my private notes, my passwords to all my accounts, and my bank card details. And it's been the easiest way by far to remove all the fuss from passwords over all my devices, and I never need to worry about forgetting a password again. Check it out at the link down below and use the code TechFocus for 50% off. The display of the Pixel 5 is pretty awesome. Although the phone is smaller than an XL model from the past, it still has a 6-inch display, making everything perfect for my personal use. It's a 90Hz OLED panel with HDR10+ certification and a 1440p resolution, and all of those features add up to one really pleasant viewing experience for just about everything. From reading the news to watching your favourite tech channel on YouTube, this display is truly great. With bezels this small around every side of the phone and a hole punch that is small enough to be ignored, the enjoyment of using this display with the Pixel Android experience and everything that comes with that is truly great. For me, there's two things that have always made a Pixel work really well with its display panel, and that is the Come Alive series of wallpapers and the Living Universe series of wallpapers. I find they really tie the always-on display and the software together perfectly, and they make the entire experience feel polished to perfection. The way they react when you pull down the notification shade or close an app, it's this attention to detail that really makes these wallpapers feel so well built around the phone. Google's Android 11 looks and feels so good on this phone thanks to the native dark mode, accent color customization, and the entire experience that suits the rest of this phone so well thanks to its simplicity. It's the little details like the hot corners for Google Assistant that integrate it perfectly into any setting, or the custom colors and system icons that just work so well. With feature drops coming constantly from Google, the entire feature set of this phone keeps expanding. Although this phone doesn't have the neural core chip that was seen in the Pixel 4, which helped with faster image processing and other AI-driven features, I haven't noticed a difference when testing features like the live transcription of a voice recording, or in image processing times. And the great thing is that all the machine learning features like the app suggestions on the home screen, routines, and smart charging methods all help with keeping this phone tailored to your needs, even without the neural core chip. Although Project Soli has been removed, which is a good thing for the front design considering how large and unnecessary it was, it's a shame that it took Face Unlock with it. The replacement, a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner, is not the greatest solution, and it would have been nice to see an under-display fingerprint scanner or even a new kind of Face Unlock here instead. Despite this phone's Snapdragon 765G, which is at best a mid-tier chip, the performance on this phone is actually great. I hadn't expected this phone to be as quick as it is, but it's a pretty snappy device despite its occasional moment of lag. App loading speeds, multitasking, and the overall performance throughout my use is pretty awesome, and not at all what you'd expect from a mid-tier chip like this. Google have done something special with how the software utilizes the CPU for this phone, and it really shows. You wouldn't think that this phone has a mid-range chip considering how nice the experience is. Sure, it's not perfect, and there's definite moments when it struggles to remain polished, especially when an app lags in loading or when multitasking hangs, but those moments have been pretty rare in the grand scheme of how this phone has performed for me. One of the most noticeable benefits from this mid-tier chip is its battery efficiency. With the Pixel 5, I can get around 5 hours of screen on time and still have enough battery left for an hour or so extra. That's a massive improvement over the Pixel 4 and 4 XL, which both struggled to get a full day's worth of battery when they were first released. The Pixel 5's performance has exceeded my expectations massively, and it just goes to show that its paper specs don't equate to the actual experience. If you're buying a Pixel phone, then there's no doubt that the cameras are a selling point for you, and it's rightfully so. The ultra-wide and telephoto cameras on the back are sure to keep everyone happy, not only by covering every focal length that you could want, but also by making it so easy to get a good photo from every one. Not only is the default camera mode incredible for every situation, whether you're taking photos of people, your pets, or a landscape, it also churns out great photos in everyday use. Natural bokeh looks great thanks to the large sensor, and even though the 1x camera is actually a digital crop on the ultra-wide, you wouldn't know it. And that's because almost everything good from these cameras comes from the software. This phone's portrait mode is just incredible. With edge detection that returns a finished image in about 2 seconds, it is crazy how accurate this phone is for subjects that aren't people and for subjects that are. Night sight and astrophotography are both modes that Google has put significant thought into, and the end results are just incredible, even for handheld nighttime photography. Although the way that Google just disabled astrophotography with the ultra-wide camera is a bit confusing, and I hope it comes back soon. Photos from this phone just make me love the Pixel camera experience even more, and for an everyday user, there is no better run-and-gun phone camera out there, in my opinion, for photography. However, on the video side, that's where this phone begins to lose it compared to the competition. Although the Pixel 5's video is good, it lacks a bit of the polish that the iPhone has. And it's not an easy thing to pinpoint, but it has something to do with the stabilization, the dynamic range, and the shutter speed decisions, all things that you can't change with the stock app. Don't get me wrong, the Pixel 5 is not bad at video, but it's just not class leading like it is with its photography abilities. What made the flagship Pixels of the past special was a combination of the character and the original features they had. Things like the ultra-wide selfie camera on the 3XL, Project Soli and the face unlock on the 4. Pixel phones used to have something on the hardware side that would introduce a wow factor alongside the software. And in a way, the Pixel 5 proves that you don't need that extra hardware to have a wow factor with the phone. The software can be enough. Although the Pixel 5 has a lot less in terms of the hardware than its predecessors, it's still an incredible phone that has the ability to be one of the best value phones out there. But here lies the problem. Although I love the Pixel 5, the Pixel 4a 5G is basically the same. It has a slightly bigger 60Hz display, the same CPU, same cameras, and only 2GB less of RAM, and it costs £160 less. For that price difference, it's hard to argue in favour of the Pixel 5 if you're looking for the best value Pixel phone out there. However, in the long term, the Pixel 5 seems like a better choice to me, thanks to the higher refresh rate display and extra RAM. Despite some small omissions compared to its previous generations, it's still one incredibly nice phone to use, and I can't wait to see where Google take it with the feature drops. If you're in the market for a new phone, then the Pixel 5 might be the best option out there. From the cameras to the software experience, every part of this phone feels refined to the point of perfection, and I've loved every single minute of using the Pixel 5. There's times in a YouTube kind of career where you want to get things more streamlined, and that's what I'm trying to do in 2021. I'm pushing to get myself to do one video per week in 2021. I know it's doable, I have the time, it's just a matter of getting myself to be more efficient with my work and actually getting it out there for the world to see. It can be hard to sometimes get into the flow of doing a video, and it can be hard to kind of just decide, right, this script is done, this script is ready to go, when you think, what if I've said something wrong and it gets called out in the video, or what if I've made a mistake and I haven't, or I've missed something out. You know, it's quite easy to do that, but when you click with the creative process for a video and what style you're going for, what suits the device and what suits your own personal creative needs, then it becomes very easy to finish off a project. The hard bit is getting the talking head or the A-roll done, because without that, you don't have a basis to work with.